my kittens, welcome back to Cats Meow. I'm really super excited for you guys to be here and to be watching this week's episode. I have some really interesting things coming your way and I'm a little terrified of them, I'm not gonna lie. I want to say I'm sorry for not posting last week. As you guys know, last week was a very crazy week here. We had the presidential election, we had Halloween happen. It was just a lot happening within a short span of time, and I just needed some time off because it was a bunch of anxiety and stress, basically. So, you know, took some time for me. It's great. It's fine. We're back. We're going to do it. Today, I have a very exciting recipe coming your way. This one actually came from James's mom. I'm going to be making a recipe from the Great Depression. One of the things that has always fascinated me about the Great Depression is that we still get to see the effects of it today, especially like the trauma and stuff like that that came from that. For me growing up, my Nana always bought an abundance of food and she always kept a lot stored, and it was because it was like her, like the after effects of the Depression. Obviously food was scarce at the time, but that's kind of what makes this recipe perfect and terrifying at the same time. This week's recipe is going to be the water pie, which is very simple and very easy and all the more intimidating because it's not your traditional pie recipe. You can't mix anything, which is great because I'm less likely to mess it up, but at the same time I'm more likely to mess it up because you just dump it and bake it, and then you let it sit for like a while, and then there you go. So we're gonna go ahead and get things started. Bippity boo, boppity boo. So when I said this recipe was very simple, I wasn't kidding. The first thing you need is to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Once you have preheat your oven to 400 degrees, you want to just take a regular baking pan and you want to do a 9-inch pie crust. I just bought a frozen one because I'm kind of tired of using pie crust lately. I'm not going to lie to you. Again, I want to say shout out to James's mom for giving me this recipes and giving me this idea. I'm really honestly excited about it. It's just kind of intimidating because it's so simplistic. The next thing you want to do is you want to take 1.5 cup of just plain old water, and you just want to pour it right into that pie crust. And that's basically it. So that's the big reason why this is called water pie, is because literally most of the pie is just water. I will say, and I forgot to mention this before, the reason you're placing this on this pan is because when you take this out, it's going to be very like jello-y, and you need to let it set for a couple hours, so this keeps it from spilling. Simba! Shoot! Don't have a teenage cat. He's reached his teenage phase. Out of control. Now that we have added the water to our pie crust, I have in this bowl 1 cup of regular sugar and 4 tablespoons of flour, and I'm just going to mix that together and get that all incorporated. Alright, once that is mixed together, you are just going to sprinkle the flour and the sugar combination right into the pie. Don't mix it, just sprinkle it on and it'll do its thing from there. This is terrifying. Don't mix it, just throw it on it, see ya. And then after you have added in your flour and sugar mixture, it's gonna kind of look like a really fluffy sugar water, basically. If you guys ever had hummingbird feeders as a kid, that's kind of, it looks like that before you add the red food coloring. We never added red food coloring because we weren't going to be that bougie. The next thing you want to do is you want to take 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and you're just going to drizzle this across the top. So now we are drizzling the 2 teaspoons of vanilla across the top. Ooh. I'm trying to evenly disperse it because I'm worried that it will, yeah, I don't really actually know what I'm worried about. I'm just worried. I'm just worried in general. Okay. The next thing this recipe says to do is to take 5 tablespoons of butter and literally just throw them onto the pie. They don't have to be room temperature or anything fancy. And I'm going to be extra and do one in the middle. And these little pieces attach to the thing I'm going to put on the side because you know, hey, it's fine. Alright, kittens, so I have our ingredients combined. This is terrifying. I'm going to go ahead and label this again because it's not a, you just throw it in and then you just bake it. I don't know how this is going to go. We'll see. So now that this has been thrown into a pie crust, essentially, we are going to put this into a 400-degree oven for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you want to lower the oven temperature to 375. You want to, at that point, you will let it cook for another 30 minutes, but before you do that, you want to make sure if the edges are starting to get really brown, you might have to take some aluminum foil and cover them, which I've never done before, so we're going to hope that doesn't. Actually, you know, I say I hope it doesn't require that, but I honestly feel like you guys at home would enjoy it if it required that, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to put this in the oven, and we're going to see what happens. Say a little prayer for me. Say a little prayer for me. Ooh, girl. I forgot that was like water. So I just like decided I was going to pick it up and put it in there real fast. You're not supposed to jiggle it. Oh gosh, the anxiety. Okay. Whew, that was warm. That was a face full of warmth. All right, well, the pie is in the oven. We're going to bake it at 400 degrees for 30 minutes, and then I'll be back in 30 minutes to see how it's going. And yeah, see you then. So we reached our 30-minute mark. I'm definitely going to have to wrap the edges because they're already like a nice, pretty golden brown, and I want to keep them from doing that. The only thing I will say is make sure you have a pan that's not going to, well, you know, sometimes when pans hit the heat, they kind of pop. Mine did that, so I had some overflow, but it's fine. Also, I've never wrapped a pie crust before with aluminum foil, so I theoretically did it. I just took a piece of aluminum foil and cut a hole in it. And now we're gonna very warmly, change this around the edges. That's so hot. As James would call it, catching hands. He wouldn't say it like that, but basically catching hands means that you have a tolerance for heat. Alright, that's theoretically yeah. Except the really dark part I didn't cover up. I already turned our oven down to 375, so. Alright, so I wrapped the pie crust, and now we're gonna bake it for another 30 minutes, and I'm still terrified. It's pretty, it smells good, it smells like vanilla. Like, it smells like the vanilla you just dump on top. But like the butter's all melted and everything, so. So this is what it looks like now that I have wrapped the pie crust. I don't actually know if this is gonna work, but you know, it's fine. But that's where we are right now. Now we got 30 more minutes. So we're gonna put this back in the oven and, you know, it's fine. It's very water in the middle. Very water in the middle. So now we're gonna let that bake for another 30 minutes and then I will see you guys back here. Alright guys, so it's been the 30 minutes and I pulled it out of the oven and it's done, and we're gonna remove my crust protector, and it worked, but it's trying to stick. But it works. So I mean she's cute. I mean, it's real cute. Now we let it cool at room temperature, and then we're gonna chill it in the fridge for a while until it solidifies, because you guys didn't see me tell you that, but it's still very wallowy. Blah. So yeah, we just let it chill out for a while, and then we'll come back for our water pie. Alright, so it's many hours later, and we are back. It has been cooled in a refrigerator. It kind of looks a little terrifying, but kind of pretty all at the same time. So we're gonna cut into this, and we have James Cam this time. James Cam? James Notes. Oh god. Jax says he wants something in the background if you...
I don't think that says I want some.
Well, that worked well. Why are you not cutting?
A knife?
I mean, I could literally pick up the whole thing. I guess that's the thing. Yeah, Lily asked me what happened to the roll out pie crust. I was like, I'm over those.
They called for a photo.
Yeah, I did. Which I also said that, but
This looks like it's gonna hurt to eat.
you don't have to eat it.
I'm going to put some. Just the way you're struggling with it.
It's only because the pie crust is on the bottom. And I'm not very good at these things. Alright. Here's the one. I'm only doing little pieces. Veggies. You get the. You didn't have to do the candy, so you get the big piece. You get the small piece because purple. What is that? Cheers. Cove is real. Don't do that at home.
Oh. What a weird texture.
It. Your mom gave me this recipe, so either if it's not good, it's her fault.
It tastes kind of like a donut. Kind of like a cake.
Tastes like donut glaze.
That's exactly what it tastes like, is donut glaze.
Tastes like donut glaze.
It isn't bad, but you must have water with your water pie.
In my case, I fully admit there will be some unsweet iced tea. Yeah.
I'm not hating on it because, you know, it's the depression water pie thing.
Okay, so if there wasn't candy readily available like there was, or like there is now, like a lot of different flavors, I could definitely see this being like a sweet treat for kids or something like that, or like a tea time dessert kind of thing, but I don't know that I don't know that I could finish an entire piece.
Yeah. I mean,
It's good.
it's really sweet.
It's like it's vanilla.
It's, well, yeah, it's like you just literally licked the vanilla extract or whatever.
Yeah, it's literally donut icing was a really good, and just the consistency alone, I could say a lot about that.
Or the honey bun icing minus the cream cheese part.
It's,
The first part was good.
it's because you don't mix it. So it's just like some plate, like, yeah. You're there just eating it away. You like it? Is it good?
That's what I'm going for. Like, crust is always going to be.
So if you put donuts
On a pie crust.
and glaze in a blender, you pour it in the pie crust, that's exactly what this tastes like to me. You should call it donut pie. And then do not make this again.
Sorry, Carla.
Get your son.
Sorry,
Get your
Carla.
son. Get your son. You know, I will say I successfully made it. Because that's the consistency. I watched like 27 videos.
Yeah, it isn't bad at all. It just is.
Oh my god, you know what it makes
an
me
acquired
think of?
texture.
Do you remember the Stephen King movie, the horror movie? I think it was The Blob.
No. This is not block pie. You do.
I-
can't do that. Cheers.
I think if I took another bite, I might actually not. Ugh.
The crust is really good. Sag Tiger's free.
Apparently, Simba really did want some.
Okay. I will say, this is interesting because it does put, like I said at the beginning of the video, it kind of puts it back into perspective on how things were during the Great Depression. And I definitely understand it put this whole process made me think about like my Nana and stuff growing up and why she always bought an abundance of food. But
It's a creative recipe for sure.
yeah, I will say I thought about that the whole time I was researching how to do it and stuff, and as I was watching the video your mom sent me, I definitely wondered how this came about. Like, this is literally like I have some water, some flour, some sugar, butter, and some vanilla, and I'm just gonna throw it in a pie
And not mix it.
and not mix it and just bake it. And like that's the thing. It's like I could see this being one of those situations, like a typical cat cooking situation, where it's like I'm gonna let this sit at room temperature for a couple hours. It's still not quite solidified, so I'm just gonna throw it in the fridge for a couple hours. Maybe now it'll be fine, and then it turns out okay. Like they're just kind of guessing your way through. I mean, it's definitely. I'm not hating on anyone that ate this or anything like that. I'm just not.
Oh yeah, no, I could definitely
I'm
see,
not.
like, if it were the Great Depression now, or if now were the times of the Great Depression, I could definitely see this being a dessert that I would actually eat, especially if I didn't have money for extras like extra sugars or extra candies or extra whatevers that a lot of us take for granted today. But yeah,
Yeah,
So-
I won't be taking this to any Thanksgivings or Christmases unless I have monster in-laws.
I
Then
don't feel
maybe
like it would do that.
Black coffee.
black coffee.
That's kind of what I think it would be served with.
Why is everything I make is somehow
It tastes
tied
like
up with
donuts.
coffee?
Coffee.
It tastes like donuts.
I'm gonna do a coffee recipe because everything I make, coffee is involved. I made
Watch
those
that taste like donuts too.
I made those god awful. They were not god awful, but I made those cookies, and everybody was like, "Baby, good with coffee." I made this. It's good with coffee.
She just really likes coffee. She just
I
doesn't-
don't.
Like I
I
said
just
before,
started
it's
drinking
fine.
coffee every day. Just started since I turned 30.
She just started having to have coffee every day.
I didn't have coffee today.
She didn't want full coffee.
Don't do it. Do not do it.
Don't put cold coffee or coffee cold turkey. It's actually not in turkey season. Is there maple syrup in this? Triggered.
We don't say maple syrup in this house. We do not say molasses in this house.
Oh.
Oh no, I'm not the holy man.
You know what? This.
Well, shut the damn cabinet. If you're gonna beat me, at least make the kitchen look clean. She's mean to me after her new backdrop.
I saw the turkey hand.
It's not as effective because he's not off camera.
Oh.
James, you put this back up there. I'm too short.
Yeah, you have to cut out me making that face. That's fine. Don't eat the filling by itself. Some things don't eat cold that texture, and that's one of them.
Well, yeah, I successfully made it. I just, it
It
really
really isn't bad.
Yeah, it really is like an educational kind of scenario where it puts it into perspective of how things were. So I appreciate that. It's not, I think honestly, I didn't expect it to be a sweet. I really don't think, I thought it was going to be like water.
I honestly thought it was going to be more sweet than it is.
It's foreshadowing. Because earlier when I was making it, if you guys remember, if I put it in, I don't know. I'll ask my editor. So, hi. I said it was like making hummingbird water. Remember I was talking about that earlier?
Oh, sugar water, yeah.
Yeah. Before you put the red food coloring, I said that's what it looked like. And, well, that's what I imagined it would taste like. Because, by the way, here's the most frustrating part. I forgot to talk about this. The reason I had to do so much research on this is because I watched 1,000 videos on how to do it, and not one of them told me how much to put in. It was just like, add water, add flour, add sugar, add butter. And I'm like, how much though? And then I finally found a recipe, and it was like 1 cup of sugar, blah, 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 4 tablespoons of flour,
Your
2
goal is
teaspoons
apparently
of
not your
vanilla.
I'm glad you found it. I probably would have done equal parts.
But so yeah, I will say this was a successful video. I appreciate the story behind this. I don't suggest it unless you're just curious. It was great. It was fun to make. It was literally the quickest thing I've ever made in my life. But yeah, so a huge shout out and thank you to your mom for giving me this recipe. She actually sat right there and gave me the recipes, which I appreciate. This month was supposed to be all Thanksgiving recipes, but honestly, I don't really know what direction we're going in right now. You guys saw last week's video where I basically got rid of the leftover candy. If you guys have any recipes that you want me to try, definitely send them my way. If you have any family recipes you want me to try, let me know. Because, I mean, I know what my family eats, and it ain't that. It ain't.
So judgy.
I'm not judgy. I'm just...
Somebody's family eats this.
Judgment.
Someone's does. I'm saying mine. My family is ridiculous.
She did it. Continue a
You like my family recipes.
rest up, please.
You gonna need a recipe, please. Especially you. I do want to say, once again, thank you guys for tuning in this week. If you liked this video, definitely give a like and a subscribe and hit the bell notification, because apparently you don't know if we do anything at all, if there's not one. So do those things. So yeah, we will be here next week and doing all the new things, and who knows what's happening. I have some theories as to what's coming, but I don't know. I don't really know. I'm scared of some of them. Actually, no, after this one, I'm not scared of anything. It's fine. We'll see ya.
It's not that bad.
It's really not. It really isn't that bad. It's just not something I would willingly eat. Ever. Again. Like, I think I can't even go to Krispy Kreme for a while. Not sponsored. Thank you. I finally got a good take and you had to talk over me, huh? Yeah, okay. We have this one, And I don't really know what the next 2-3 weeks are gonna look like, but we'll find out as they go. If you have any recipes, whatever. If you have any
Recipes. You have some recipes. Bring it on in.
Yeah.
Bring to her. Okay. Recipes.